is going to pick red coin. Gravesh has taken it on red coin every opportunity he's had until it's won, and obviously it's won quite consistently, reasonably quickly. So that's the matchup I think we're going to see here.
It would make sense because you have so many options when you are playing line pockets. You can decide to spend your coins and boost cards, or you can just decide to use it all on cards like Cleaver and Tunnel Drill. So Jurden won't find a lot of value if that's the case. So going line pockets on red coin is probably a smart move, because if any deck can pull it off right now, it's a tier 1 line pockets deck. So I won't be surprised, unless Hancook here decides not to go with Northern Realms, but I do think that's what he's going to go for.
Yeah, it's likely the list that he takes, but you never know. You never know for sure. They will be. It's literally the decision they're making, and we have flicked over. It is time to switch. The card has gone.
There we
It's
go.
full screen time.
Awesome.
Let's go.
So,
And it is the matchup as expected.
yes.
It is NR Witches on blue, their home of homes, and it is line pockets. This is going to be interesting.
Alrighty. So, yeah, this is exactly what we expected. Now, it can go either way here. Let's see both players in action. Of course, we want to start off with the Griffin Witcher here and Crystal Skull. But I have seen Heatwave come out, and I do believe it was Gravesh. It was Gravesh who kept playing every single one of his control cards the moment anything was played by his opponent. Yes, we casted this before. I recall it very well, and I think it was he who used his Heatwave to get rid of the Griffin Witcher, who was already boosted. Let's see if he decides to do the same thing here. He might. He might.
Yeah, Gravesh, when we've cast him previously, was very much every engine that could be removed was a lightning rod for removal, and he was not shy about doing so. Will he do the same thing here? Heatwave, of course, not a crime, so won't lose value from his usual choices. Is that your Heatwave in this matchup? With this list, though, because it is slightly different, is it the list he's going to choose here? It's a nice-looking hand on the other side. You can see the things that he's missed, but he does have access to the perfect pocket. He has got Nova Gradient Justice. He has got one Crown Splitter in hand. Furco there, not for the Nova Gradient Justice, so can be used for a crime. Not necessarily ideal, but not the end of the world, because he does have a unit that is a Crown Splitter to play. Gravesh now probably weighing up. Do I Heatwave, as you said, because it does seem to be his normal line.
Yes.
There it is. There it is.
I knew it. Players don't change. They keep their same patterns. That's the only benefit from casting it. If we ever decide to get into the top 4, because of course it's easy, right? But we know exactly what these players are doing. But yeah, Gravesh, it's a solid tactic though. That card would have gained significant value during this round, and you don't really want to start playing your other Intimidate engines if you know they're just going to be pinged every single turn. Now we see the next Griffin Witcher coming out at 8, but it doesn't have the Veil, so it's not as strong if this round goes on a little bit longer than it should.
No, that's the thing. Now, normally you'd see line pockets, and it does exactly this. Safecracker, and then we get the second one out with Nova Gradient Justice. There are only 4 crime cards in hand here, so not necessarily the biggest one you've ever seen. But you're not going to want to use those crime cards to deny that engine immediately if you're not going to get the value on the Crown Splitter. So I would imagine now we will see those engines dropped for Gravesh.
Yeah, so we do get a Crown Splitter coming out there, along with another 5-point Dwarf, which is quite nice as always. So now Hancook knows exactly how many crime cards Gravesh does have in hand. He knows how much he needs to push to perhaps get some better cards out of him, and he will reach a point where that happens inevitably. We see Dark here, we see the Tunnel Drill. So if he goes past the last 2 cards, he will find some value. But it will also decrease his chances of taking the round if those cards do emerge, because they're quite strong.
Yeah, and that's the issue. Rapid play from Hancook there. Takes the decision to snipe the back row Safecracker. Not everything played in the same row, potentially considering this is maybe the best Jurden in this round, as opposed to later on, as you say, the drill tends to find most of the value when it goes, so you don't go as tall as perhaps you would think this list does later than round 1, if you find the right spenders. Now we just see a simple dip in the Pontar for value, coins, and carryover. Safe to do on red coin. It is a little slow tempo, but that's not really an issue. a nice looking tag here for Gravesh.
Yeah, already we are ahead here on red coin, which is quite ideal. Like, we can always change the tempo also, which is very nice. The current line pockets is very flexible in this regard, whereas the Northern Ram Witches are very predictable. So you know how much to push and when to withdraw. And we just are putting out our engines currently. We have the Griffin Witcher Adepts going quite nicely. We got target practice right there. And our normal Griffin Witcher is getting his 1 ping every turn, like he normally would.
Very much so, and you'd love to have the hand as an NR Witches player that Hancook currently has access to pretty much anything and everything you'd want. Tunnel Drill in this round is available to Gravesh and does have the pocket, but those shields do deny some of that value, and the coin situation is enough that Gravesh decides, I'm going to take out that now. I'm going to spend my 6 coins, I'm going to get 9 value, and I'm going to give the drill. I'm going to give it now, because with the shields, it's not necessarily going to find huge play, and I want to win this on even. Also knows that the 1 oil has gone. So, have you got the lock? Is the lock in hand? Because it's now your only counter. Yes or no? And of course, we can see the answer is no.
Indeed. And hey, it's a great opportunity to place the tunnel drill between 2 crown splitters. So it's 3 damage per 2 coins, which is absolute great value. And it does secure him the round, because even now he can just pass if he really wants to. Of course he won't. I think he'd rather have round control here and keep pushing. Yeah,
I agree. You'd rather win on even than lose 2 cards down in with a list that you want to control the round.
Yeah.
So, and I think Hancook is also aware of that. He's basically playing for carryover here and will perhaps try and slam a decent amount of points. Will end up maybe having to Quen into, and there you go. We're going to see the natural selection pulls Kelda. I'm assuming you get rid of the bronze card here, the Scytheman. Yeah, and continue the engine going, but still not ahead, crucially. Still saying, you know, let me push. We know even from 2 cards down, NR Witches is capable of pushing very, very well.
that's very true. And right now, Vesemir is going to get some value. Some nice carryover, as well as all the witches that are going to get boosted on board. Now, Gravesh just needs to play any card here, really. He can just go with his crime card, but Bloody Good Fun isn't something you want to do right now, because it will use up all your coins. You first need to ping a shield, and that's not ideal either, because you have to spend 2 coins. Perhaps he goes with Furco, and yeah, that's exactly what he does.
Yeah, and we'll probably play for coins. Could either eavesdrop or possibly play payday. Oh, hit the 2-point damage. No, it takes the coin value on the eavesdrop. Nose your head.
Get rid
Makes
of
sense.
I think that's the play, because he can go down all... Oh, keeps Jock. Alright. Alright, makes sense.
There we go.
But yeah, he preferably doesn't want to play that yet this round.
And there's the boat. Actually put Kelda back. Has decided to put Kelda back instead, because ultimately you don't want to play it in this round. That kind of makes sense. I can see the logic of that. You don't want to give your every win condition in this round, and Kelda is a huge one in what looks like a bleed you're going to have to resist here. Plus, knowing the boost was coming down on Vesemir, it's a good time to be able to play this card. Although, it looks like Gravesh is going to take round control here, I would say.
Oh yeah, certainly. He's already far ahead. He has all of his coins right now. It's 9. Already reached the maximum limit. And still Tunnel Drill is a little bit awkward here, because even though it does 3 points of damage, you're not going to find 3 points of damage. You're going to have to throw away some coins here. A spinner might have been nice, actually. A spinner could have helped here. But we still have a Neuromancy, so there's always the opportunity to do so.
Very true. And in this matchup, Kurt can actually just be a bounty card. Could be played for a bounty here and find some very nice value.
Oh,
with
yes.
a drill that goes brrr. So, all of a sudden, really not too terrible. Grab the coins back, turn the engine off, and pretty much assure you are going to win this round on even here. An 8-point Scytheman keeps you behind by 5 if you're going to keep pushing as Hancook. So unless it's Scytheman and full leader here, this may be the time that Hancook says, okay, I'm out.
Yeah, we need to be a little bit careful here. Okay, alright. Hey, you're finding some value here with the Erden. It's not going to be enough to keep you ahead, but at least for now, you're not suddenly behind anymore. And yeah, we definitely know Gravesh would have played around Jurden in future rounds. We might not have seen as many spinners as we'd hoped for. And with the Halfling Safecracker already on the board, this might have been his best opportunity to do so.
Very much so. And the last card being a bronze that is going to trade for a lot of value, the drill very, very much neutered coin-wise by the number of shields that sit on the other side. Hancook doing really well here. Gravesh still reasonably happy in terms of where he is. And as long as Hancook now doesn't brick and draws the cards, not in a terrible place here. So as Gravesh, it's a difficult choice. I'd imagine first and hero is the line, because you want to win this round.
Okay, that's nice. But the thing with playing Onero before Jock is you kind of have to figure out how much you think Hancook is going to commit here and hope Jock is going to cut it. Now, we know Jock should be able to cut it. But yeah, Onero also gives you the opportunity to draw anything if you need it. But yeah, now Jock comes out anyway, which is a bit of a commitment. But it's not the end of the world because we have a lot of strong cards in a deck like this. And winning on even is absolutely preferred in this sort of matchup.
Yeah, it's always going to be the case that you're going to choose to do that. And spends beforehand and will probably just choose to not tribute, take 9 coins because it's enough to stay ahead. So we'll take maximum carryover here because even in stage 1 you get the profit 4, does exactly that, wins the round on even, takes maximum carryover, and playing Jack in round 1 is expensive, but to win on even in this situation, pretty great.
Yeah, we're in a very good position here if we are Gravesh. So now Gravesh can opt to go with double last say here by dry passing, or he can just bleed that Witcher trio out, hope he finds it, and then go into a short round or something like Cleaver. Now it totally depends on if he gets the cards he wants in order to do that. He could also just plop Cleaver down right now and decide to go for a 2-0. I mean, he brought over 4 coins because he had 9 in the previous turn, both. He shuffles away Sea Jackal, which is a spender, although Jurden isn't a problem anymore. He gets it right back. Alright.
Yeah, well, there are 2 of them. Blacklisting is not a thing. There are 2 of them. So, I mean, the other option that Crimes has, it can stay reasonably uninteractive and try and deny a lot of your value, which a trio gets in the way of that. Missing basically 3 big win conditions, has access to 1 of them for Gravesh. The risk is, in a medium-length round, NR Witches is pretty terrifying.
It is.
Knowing that,
yeah.
So...
But the thing is, because his hand is so terrible, Gravesh that is, he might just choose to try and trade up here. He could just plop Sea Jackal down, spend some of his coins if he wants to, then go for payday afterwards maybe. He decides to go for a Nero. Will he go all in here and play something like Cleaver is the question. Or is he just going to thin the deck? He's going all in. Alright.
I think he knows that if he soft pushes, it's not necessarily ideal. Playing Cleaver now isn't that terrible. He probably wants to double click though. So I'm not sure if it's the client roping or him. But does he get the time to spend? No, he gets the both out, fair enough.
Yeah, so I'm thinking the same. You obviously need to get Horde 9, so you can't use it immediately. And I don't believe that can be dealt with in this deck anyway. We don't have Anzi's, we had Jurden, so...
Anna can still deal with it, so I'd expect Margarita to come out and lock that really instantly now.
Okay, that's a big problem.
Still ahead though. Still ahead and get the coin. So it's not too bad. You've got a card that you can play and take advantage of those coins here for a decent amount. You really want to see either Kelda, the trio, or both if you're really happy. So now, is it going to be the trio having to be dropped to make sure you stay ahead here and don't lose your card? Yep.
I mean, excellent, right? That's exactly what you want here. But it's a pity that Cleaver was wasted like that. Because Hancook did have access to Margarita with our Amphibious Assault. So we do go with Payday. Okay, yeah, so we're not attempting to win. We're attempting to get out his last card, which makes absolutely sense.
You're never going to find enough points knowing that any unit in hand is going to be boosted. Unit plus full leader is always going to put you in a tough spot because you haven't got enough coins to spend to outpoint that. The leader itself would have been worth another 11 points. So now it comes down to find the best cards. Top deck v top deck. No one has Echo cards left, but there are some pretty good lit cards left for both players. Oof.
Now, I don't know about Skewer-Tooth here. Yeah, Peppa Pig needs to go right there. Without crime cards, it doesn't do much, right? And spending 3 coins for immunity doesn't do much either. Philippa, on the other hand, could be a win condition here. Oh, and we misscored. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, although honestly, I don't think you mind being uninteractive here if you're Gravesh. I think it isn't the end of the world. Access to a lot of coins can deny value on most things here. The first card that comes out, you could easily just Philippa that, and then use damage, but you have no other spenders. The lack of a spender here with this many coins that isn't Philippa.
Yeah, so we don't have enough coins here, unfortunately. We're gonna have to dip. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Dip to get more coins. And now, okay, there comes the Flying Rodanian. Very nice extra card there. And Philippa will likely be stealing the biggest target we can manage to steal.
Yeah, and it's likely to be Radovid's Royal Guard that gets dropped next back row as a sort of a please take this. Now, you get more value for those coins stealing that, but realistically, that's not great because you're not getting the full value of your coins there. You'd much rather leave it and let something get boosted, I think, in this situation.
I think we definitely steal it with a Philippa. Yeah, the problem is Bloody Good Fun will be using all of your coins. So that's a bit of a problem. And of course, the biggest card in the end will be boosted substantially. So Bloody Good Fun will then find its value by hitting the last Scytheman, most likely. And hey, you get some extra value there. You only have to spend 5 coins, and you get the order ability that hasn't been used yet. So not too bad.
Yeah, very good. And it has to be the line you take. Because as you say, you're never going to overspend and leave yourself a dead Philippa. So now you're paying 5 coins for 7 points plus 2 armor. And then Bloody Good Fun just smacks with the remainder of your coins for as much. Both players miss. I mean, there's a lot of points in the. There's not that many points in the leader really, because this is close. This is close. But I think Gravesh might just take this. This is really close.
Gravesh should take this. Yeah. 7 damage with the final boost. Yeah, doing
7
it.
7 damage plus, and it's so close. It is so close. By a point, Gravesh takes the first one. Gravesh 1, Hancook 0. This is, I believe, a TLG Civil War for the final place in the Open. This is huge.
And they go shoot. Oh, unlucky. Alright, so Gravesh 1, Hancook 0. Line Pockets is out. And again, Hancook not banning Line Pockets, although it always wins. So, yeah, hey, if Hancook makes it through, one of the questions I'd ask is whether he's had success against Line Pockets in the past, and whether that is the reason he decided not to ban it, or perhaps he just has other lists he's more afraid of, that he maybe thinks is a bit more intimidating than Line Pockets is.
Well, Nilfgaard. Spam Nilfgaard every single time. Every matchup, consistently, all day. Nilfgaard, 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 Nilfgaard.
Yes.
No exception. Gravesh had been banning Pockets all day until now, has left Hancook with Pockets and taken V away. So V is not there. A particularly difficult matchup for all of his lists, to be fair, but has decided, you know what? I will deal with the fact that Pockets can potentially beat one of my lists in the hope that I can get through with everything else. We go into the second game now with Hancook on red coin. So probably going to take, has always taken the Nilfgaard, but now has Line Pockets, unusually, may take that. What are we seeing from Gravesh then? What do we think? Kelly?
Well, we don't have to guess. It's already happening here. I think the players are eager to get it on. And we have Gravesh taking Nature's Gift and Hancook coming in with Nilfgaard. This is going to be a fun matchup because Nilfgaard has the ability to try and play this game better than Gravesh can. I play your cards better than you can and I win. That's how Nilfgaard works.
That's usually the line. And Gravesh will be taking this intentionally through on the red coin here and has found Dunker round 1, has access to Purifiers, has... Oh, that's a very nice opening hand here. Gravesh, the big thing for Gravesh is get this list through. If Gravesh can get this list through and is remaining with 3 shots with Keltulis, I think Gravesh will be very, very happy here. For Hancook, strong Nilfgaard list, the one we've seen so very much. Oh, this is going to be fun.
Absolutely great hand.
Goodbye,
And
Ethne.
yeah, you don't want Ethne in round 1 because Dunka provides for very nice carryover in round 1. And of course, Ethne changes every turn, so that means all the boosts Ethne would have gotten is just gone the moment she changes in round 2. So a very nice setup for Gravesh here. But let's see what Hancook has in store for us.
And again, no need to boost that from Gravesh. It is an open deck list. There is no 5 damage removal. And if you're going to Yen a Dunker, Gravesh is a very happy man. So he's there saying, go for it. You're going to damage it with the Slave Hunter. So now it may get boosted if that doesn't get removed. Of course, we may just see that rebuked as well.
There we go. Symbiosis is a wonderful thing. Already we see the little tree token coming out. Adorable as always. Now with Ethne on the board, that token will grow significantly bigger. And I, for one, am very excited to see that token moving soon. As CDPR is working very hard on getting the tokens premiumed. So for the dwarves were the first that were chosen. A very noble choice, I'd say.
No question, no question. Premium tokens are something we've all wanted, and I am very happy to see more of them. What do you do now? The defender getting lots of nice boosts, which if it weren't for the fact that we can see a cupbearer sat there, giggling away to himself in the other hand, may have been really useful that those boosts dropped there. In reality, of course, it provides no more protection than it would have done, but still some talented boosting there from Dunker. Gravesh now working out, do I need to kill this? Do I need to kill this? On the basis that it may deny you thinning if I do. So is Hancook playing the thinning soldiers or not?
I believe Hancook is playing the
to
Chinese meta breaker, so he doesn't have that much control. No locks, I believe. He's relying on engines alone.
And there it is. So it doesn't need to worry about removing the 1. Gonna find value either way here if you choose to click.
Yeah, I think that was good. He'd get his 4 points either way. Now, the question is, what do we do from here on out? Still, we're getting some very nice carryover. Of course, if we really want to, we can start committing units and maybe place all of our boosts onto 1 card. Though I don't think that's ideal, seeing that we are playing against Masquerade Ball, so poison is going to be a problem. Don't want too many tall units, we already have enough of those.
Most definitely. Now, this matchup's a bit of an interesting one. The Purify options in hand, any of the spies that get dropped can be purified and boosted because there's a Dryad on the board out of coup range, meaning that playing them more than once is actually not necessarily as likely as you would normally think. So this, for Gravesh here, could actually be not too bad. Drops the potential vitality as well, hoping to bait out a cupbearer. Never going to bait out a cupbearer, but you may as well try.
Definitely not with Hammer Dryads being a thing. Cupbearer isn't coming out yet. And yeah, keeping that Dryad's Caress is something you might want to consider here because of the poison. Using it now would be rather redundant. And we see the first Fangs of the Empire coming out, which is our poison. Now we are tempting Dryad's Caress. We're saying, do you have it? Are you prepared to use it here?
Dryad's Caress does remove the Purify you currently have as well, but obviously if you're going to lose it, you're going to lose it. Is it the time to do now? No Veil, because we've already played from Gravesh. The Echo card has already come out, chose Vitality over Veil, so that is not an option here. But does have a pass, or the Defender. The Defender would then, of course, require being purified, and then you have to get out.
Committing the Defender now, though, it's a little bit early, because we still know Masquerade Balls in hand. Alright, well, I mean, it would have always been poison at some point, right? And the fact that we already have 1 poison on board means we now wasted that poison. So, Gravesh doing a strategic Defender play right there.
I think Gravesh really needs round control here in this matchup. It's really important to be able to take control of it. Going into a long round is going to be quite scary. And as a result, very, very happy, gets the pass, has to commit the defender to do it, but gets a decent amount of carryover still pinging somewhere other than the defender. Would be reasonably content with what was spent in that round there.
Yeah, we've got a nice 8-point Forest Protector. We've got Valve with 1 boost. Not the end of the world. I think he did quite well. Alright, so we throw away
some great draws though. So you can see Yen, you can see pretty much every spy you could want.
Yeah.
Masquerade Ball, stage 2 of the Usurper, and Purify. It's a stacked hand over there. Very stacked hand.
Yeah, now this is the thing, right? You definitely want Last Say if you're playing Nature's Gift. Because you're going to end up playing something like Gord. And Yennefer just instantly deals with it. Ah, there's Berza coming out to say hello.
Unfortunately for Berza here, Berza never really trades for 2 points of damage in this matchup because of the spies on your side of the board.
Exactly
so
right.
Dropping it knowing it won't die is great, and it's probably going to find value for the first turn, but past that, less so. Unless, of course, you immediately answer it with something like a Brathens. Interestingly, on the other side of the board, there is only one, if I'm not mistaken, there is only one aristocrat right now because the Usurper is stage 2. Ball only has 1 target. There is also no coup in hand and no access to coup because none of those cards will pull it. So Ball can't actually be procced here.
That's
which is incredible.
Yeah, the thing about this specific variation of the double cross deck, also a reason I don't play it, but that's because I don't plan enough ahead. I never end up with 2 aristocrats in hand. Normally you kind of rely on a coup de grace to carry you, so you can play something like Joachim twice. But often I end up not being able to proc Masquerade Ball twice. And again, this might just be me, but as we just saw here, it's actually happening. Because in this specific variation, we don't have any Van Moorlem's Hunters. So already that's 2 aristocrats gone. And that's a very nice full provision card to have, but this deck focuses on getting engines instead of cards like a Van Moorlem, which is an interesting way to do it. But this deck is doing exceptionally well, so it works.
Yeah, very much so. Now, if you're Gravesh here, you could just give that card Veil. You are hugely, hugely playing into the Yen, but honestly, again, if that card gets Yen, something else doesn't. Takes every second of his time here, and probably goes for the Veil. Does he? Oh no, was that a oh no, he's roped. There's no way he meant that, right?
I'm hoping not.
I feel like that was a... Oh no. I feel like that was either a misclick or a rope. Well, I can't imagine he didn't want to veil that. You're not playing into the poison. And yeah, not roping this time. Gravesh said, fine, I'm just playing. That feels bad. That feels bad there.
Yeah, that leaves a bad taste in the mouth, I'm not going to lie.
Very much so. Very much so. But you have to continue. You have to reset yourself from that and just say, you know what, I'm going to keep going. That's not ideal. That's a lot of potential points missing now. That's a scary amount of potential points missing.
So many.
But you still have to keep shooting. You have to keep going here. Because you know you don't win this long round. And Gravesh really not messing around. No. Slamming those cards now.
Yeah, well, it seems, yeah, the goal was never to pass. Yeah, giving a poisoned unit more points, I don't think that was the go-to play there. That was definitely a rope, which is very unfortunate. Alright, now we are already ahead here, Hancook that is, and already a card up as well.
It's a good-looking hand, though. Fov now being played and being dropped down here takes access.
Yeah,
are you having to commit FA?
We're going all out. That seems to be the choice. Definitely going all out. So Gravesh has decided, doesn't matter, I'm going to try and get all of your cards out, or I'm going to try and 2-0 you. Either way, it's always actually a nice tactic, because sometimes people hold on to their leader ability a little bit longer than they should. And if you end up playing every single card in your hand around 2, then your chances of 2-0ing are significantly higher because of that fact, because then you have a dead leader ability right there.
Yeah, very true. And the cards on the other side that are left in Gravesh's hand, not the best in terms of things that could be stolen. So you don't actually want. I mean, to be fair, the Purify would be really nice for the Hamadryads that have been stolen, but past that, they're not actually that amazing. And I can see Gravesh, he is not messing around.
No.
And the leader ability gets dropped by Hancook here. We'll probably have to take the nature card and put it onto one of the Hamadryads because it trades for the most points, which it does.
Yeah, Hancook basically coming to that same conclusion here. You are going to have to use your leader perhaps this round. Rather get the best choice here with that last 3 cards that you can view. Instead of Gravesh playing his best cards real quick, so you end up with a bad one.
I mean,
Gravesh doing well.
What's left? Ooh, I mean,
but...
Gesras here could be very scary. Now, having played that for extra boosts, Yen can potentially steal that. The ability to play another one of those from the Forest Protector to deny the Joachim is massive. Of course, it would be if it weren't for the fact that Joachim doesn't actually have a second play here. It's not necessarily going to be as good as it looks.
That's the thing, right? Yeah, I think you're correct here. I think Gravesh might just go for Gesras and try and attempt to go all in here. But yeah, Gesras just gets stolen by Yennefer, doesn't it?
And then replayed by Joachim, which is just terrifying points.
But of course, Gravesh doesn't know that, and he might be hoping that Hancook has a bad hand. This might be his only opportunity to push.
Yeah, and he'll be quite frustrated that he hasn't got a pass here, has his own +2 per turn with Vitality, that is mirrored on the other side of the board here. Although Hancook now working out what card is he going to play. We get the Joachim. So we can't... The Yen
is he
play
roping?
isn't there now.
Or is it the clients? Because this is taking a long time.
Here comes coup. Joachim, Invo, Joachim. So is this going to be... Here's the coup. Was it rope?
No.
Was it...
It doesn't seem to be rope.
Well...
Now he's filling that row.
Okay.
And he's doing it...
the back row is also filled, meaning now that it's going to be... Oof.
So Gesras doesn't get that value from the range row. It will have to be stuck on the melee row, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It will still get some value, but not nearly as much. Because, as we know, Gesras keeps doing its thing, even if it doesn't go to that row. So Gesras now tries to go to the range row, and then ends up boosting as he would have. That's the way he's written. It's quite interesting, but some people purposely do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
5 points per turn from Symbiosis for the number of Symbiosis engines on the board is actually huge.
Exactly. Yeah, sometimes people purposely get Gesras stuck in a row to do something. So if you got him stuck in the range row and your opponent has absolutely stacked the melee row, Gesras will keep damaging every card in your opponent's melee row instead. It's a quirky little thing that's included in his description. But I personally would Yennefer here. I don't know. Yeah.
I can see that. And the only thing is the Yen onto Gesras, it's so many points. Maybe not immediately, but the engine that it denies is huge. Now, Forest Protector here is a decent number of points. Down by 12, only down by 12 here. Ball is a 4-point card. Now, Gravesh doesn't know that's in hand, and Cantarella could be very little. It's a rough read for Gravesh. If he reads those the 2 last cards, may consider playing this, and could potentially 2-0 in the most unlikely situation after that row, because there are still a lot of points in his hand.
It's unfortunate, isn't it? Because that Masquerade Ball will end up playing for 4 points. Cantarella, on the other hand, is a bit of a wild card here.
And he does it. Gravesh goes for it. He is saying, you know what? I'm going to win. It's going to be now. I'm going to take max value on this. Does he drop the leader charge? He does. And it's going to come down to, is Cantarella going to find a big enough card?
And do we play Masquerade Ball first merely because of the fact that Cantarella will trigger Thirsty Dame once, give her 1 point? Because we really might need this. We really might.
I think he will, because he needs so many points. Is there a card that does it on its own? Because there is another 2 points on board. 12 points needed here in total for Hancook.
Hey, if he gets scored,
does it?
Gord should do it, I think.
Gord will only play... The Gord Stolen might do it. The Gord Stolen would do it. And that's going for the high roll. Oh, boy.
I think he just... Oh, okay.
Oh,
Now
he's just
again,
done
he
it.
has a lot of cards that actually, yeah. See,
Yeah.
he just got a
Not
symbiosis
enough.
token.
It's not enough. It is an 80-80 draw, and Gravesh, having roped out, has decided, I am going in
What?
here, and does it. Gravesh taking it 2-0. That is massive. And now he has 3 shots at a place in the open with a list. Just, one of those weird little off. Oh no, wait, it's Keltulis.
Yes, it's
Gravesh
calculus.
is.
What are the
Wow.
chances? What are the chances?
Wow.
But Hancook got greedy there, because if he played his Masquerade Ball first, his Thirsty Dame would have gotten 1 point because of Cantarella and its spying status. He would have had just enough. So he got exceptionally greedy there. And
It's a
I
great win
think
for Gravesh.
going into a short round would have been alright for Hancock. He just didn't want to commit Masquerade Ball yet. My goodness, what are the chances?
Well, Gravesh with a great hand read there, deciding if I'm going to win, it's going to be now. Because I think if he passes, it is GG and game over. I don't think he wins if Hancook gets more cards. So, Gravesh, third game, Keltulis, 2 shots on red coin to potentially not just flip the coin, but double flip the coin here. Gravesh could be joining the other 7, Forever YOLO, Cams, Paja, Tailbot, Red Rain, Bart, and most recently Shaggy. And I think the 2 of them would be very glad if they qualify together on the same day. The brothers going through, it would be amazing.
I love casting these. You
Yeah,
see things that you would never see by just playing on your own on ladder. Like the way Gravesh went ahead and did that, and the fact that Hancock did the thing that he did. It's just such a nice little setup. Did you freeze, or is your face just still? Oh no, you're
No,
not.
I'm moving. I am moving. I was just checking something.
All right.
I am just like, I am a statue, that is all. And we are waiting for the final game to come in here. So, Hancook really up against it now. Knows, okay, I've got 3 shots. I've got a reverse sweep V here. Reverse sweep V. Options. Oof.
It's a bit problematic, isn't it?
It really is.
Shaggy said
Pocket.
something nice I quite liked, and I had to write it down. I'll rewatch it, but he described it in a sort of rock paper scissors way that AQ beats something, V beats something, Swarm beats something. Now, I myself, I wouldn't know. I think it largely depends on the person who's playing the decks, because it's really all about the way in which you push, in which you retreat. But yes, it's certainly going to be interesting. But Kali's a very strong deck here, and Gravesh now has a few opportunities to go through with it.
Very much so. And I'm just curious, what does Hancook take here? Going through, you're playing against, it's Keltulis. You know you're on blue coin, Keltulis. You're against Kelly on red. So, are you just... NR Witches is the list that generally Hancook has taken on blue coin. Is running the Yerden version as well, but that's not massive here. There's not much control. Swarms so much here. Has got access to pockets. That's a possibility.
Yes, it certainly is a possibility. Well, let's see. With Kali, you absolutely need control, because if you can deal with the biggest threats, then the whole deck just sort of falls apart.
Here we go.
Alrighty, here we go, guys. Might be the final, might not be. If I show that one more time,
Speak your mind. To the
I'm
point.
going to crack.
Does
There
take
we go.
Nilfgaard. Does take Nilfgaard here. So, the Nilfgaard list has a decent amount of options for the control, albeit the poison effectively nullified in almost all situations here by the leader ability. Can Gravesh take this 3-0? Kelly on red, have we drawn the cards as Gravesh? Gravesh has found the cards you would like to see in round 1. There is a defender there for this matchup. There is Siri. Importantly, Igern there as well. Maxi, that is a round 1 tasty looking hand if you are Gravesh. On the other side though, I do see a Masquerade Ball, I do see Yen, I do see Cupbearer. So we do indeed have some talent checks that have been passed here for this matchup. Both of those pretty huge. Sequencing going to be big.
I think Hancook chose this wisely because Nilfgaard has sufficient control to deal with some of the bigger threats. Now, Yennefer alone is quite nice. The problem here is that poison gets dealt with quite easily with a swift leader charge and placing Veil on a card. Of course, you can't place Veil on Surrey Dash because of the recent nerf, meaning you can only give Veil to monster cards. You can still boost any other card, but you can't give Veil. So we see the defender coming out first, and it doesn't last.
Second, I guess. Yeah. That is basically saying, I know full well you want to play Ciri, and if you do, I'm going to steal her. So, does Gravesh believe both skill checks have been passed?
No, Veil. Not that Veil would help here if Swift Yennefer is played. Honestly, Poison might be a very nice play here. Because there's no Veil coming to the rescue, no matter what.
And you've got enough time for it to process as well. There is no way of saving that, apart from the Purify in Gravesh's hand, of course.
Well, it goes down to... No, he can still get rid of it. Yeah, he still has enough time.
And I think it will now come down to, I'm going to yen that. You could drop another poison and threaten, but how are you poisoning it again is the question. You still have one more turn before you need to worry about it. So you're hoping to... There's no other...
But why waste a poison though? Because there's nothing else that Gravesh can do here if he's panicking. Yeah, that's the question, right? How do we get another poison out? Because Masquerade Ball doesn't tick immediately. And
I'd imagine you might take the pass here, see if Gravesh decides I want to get out of the round then because I'm never keeping this card now.
Yeah.
You know there are no more in the list. You're aware that it's an open deck list and you've played all three of the poisons that you have. So as a read there, Gravesh knows you must be about to take Ciri. Would you slam Igon here because you can only take one of them? And they're the two options?
Seems to be exactly what he does.
Good, okay, that's reassuring for me to know. Because that's exactly what I would have done. So now it's pick your poison. Which are you most scared of?
And there we go. Of course. So, I mean, hey, Ciri is very nice to have yourself. No reason just to get the points away from your opponent. Playing it yourself could be a game changer. Of course, Igon would have been a very nice target, but like you said, that was merely bait. And we did not fall for it.
It's the safest point knowing it's probably going to survive, which feels pretty good. And Gravesh now ahead, still ahead, and on even by a decent number of points can drop a pretty simple card. Very happy there.
Yeah, that's the only problem you have here if you are Hancook. The fact that you are going down quite a few points here. Because an unanswered Cali is quite dangerous in a long round.
It really is. And the Forktail here trades pretty well.
Ironically.
Only one of your units get damaged, but 5 of your opponents do. So it's an 8-point Forktail right now, and you're already ahead at probably one of the better times. The only reason you'd consider not is if you really want to deny potentially a set of the spies. You could potentially drop it to disable the second spy play even to take your own damage. It's a little bit of a strange one, but I've seen people do it. It's happened to me, let's put it like that. And instead, just takes the Dow, slams points. Movement's not huge in this matchup in terms of, you know your Kelly's not being moved, so you don't need it to return, and there are no roll-off engines that you're worried about.
Ironically, you want that duo out of your hand because of the fact that we're playing against double cross. So it can be used against you if you decide to use your leader. So getting it out is good.
Correct. Completely agree. And probably one of the reasons that it's been dropped. Because now you can't get punished by your own cards. Nilfgaard doing Nilfgaard things.
That seems to be the play here. I do believe that Forktail is so bad in a matchup that is not Arachasum that we're not even trying to thin the deck. We just want to mulligan it away essentially and not play it at all. Just what I'm thinking, but it could be something else. I think Maxi is a good play. Oh my goodness.
So, Kelly, that's a big commitment here. That's me. That's saying, hey, commit something big or lose the round. Keltula's dropped. Gravesh really going in here. I wasn't expecting the Kelly play. I was I'm really surprised by the Kelly line. But hey, Gravesh knows what he is doing, has decided this is a round that I must win. I can't just tick ahead by a single point here. The hand on the other side for Hancook, they're not cards you want to play anyway in round one. If you drop Masquerade Ball here, that's problematic. You could drop a Spy, but you're running dangerously short of aristocrats in this list, so takes the pass.
Well, Kelly is a big win condition. I think Gravesh is on a little bit of a high from his previous games. He's like, I'm invincible. I will throw Kelly now. And the question is, does he just bleed here and see what he can get away with? Or does he 2-0? Well, go for the 2-0. I don't think he can 2-0 with the hand he has.
Not with that hand. Has to bleed and try to Masquerade Ball out. He's also aware that Siri is in the hand of the opponent, and that is a very strong looking hand on the other side there. That is, oh my, that is one heck of a hand. Every one of those cards you would not want to see. So, going from here, one more mulligan left. What's the one you want to kick? In what looks to be an unsuccessful, it won't be a bleed that's going to 2-0. You're going to keep Squirrel in the hope you can deny some value, but there is no Echo card. Lots of points potentially from the Osril, but plays into poison. Still 2 leader charges though.
I'm still a bit confused about that Cali play because Cali would have been excellent here. Yennefer has already been played, and just putting Vel on Cali makes it, can't be removed. And yeah, I find it very odd because we would definitely have seen a lot of units on the side of Hancook with Masquerade Ball and the Usurper. The Spies don't help, but hey, Cali can get rid of the Spies and then it can't be coup de grace. But I mean, we'll see what his game plan was.
Winning massive here. If I win uneven, I can effectively perma-bleed and do monsters things, which is just standard me slam cards in a short round. So, I mean, it's definitely a weird line to commit your Kelly there, but hey, one uneven is in a pretty good spot, and now actually has the control removal option to get rid of Siri as well, which is huge. There is a natural selection in hand, and either 1 or 2 damage per turn here.
Oh.
Do you lead now? Oh, does leader, but doesn't find the pact, which could have ruined everything.
I'm more worried about that.
That's a lot of points.
And already Gravesh cannot catch up here. There's no way he catches up. The problem is, though, that Hancook's hand is exceptional, and Gravesh will be trading up every single turn. He just has to continue playing all the cards he has, except for the last one, of course, because he'll be behind by so many points that it won't matter. Gets rid of Seri Dash, which is quite nice. You want to see that. But Osrel, problematic.
Yeah, but it won't be too fussed. As much as you want your Osril for that, you've still got decent tall units in Grave, Kelly in there, so there is still a 10-point Osril. Lots of options available, and honestly, as you say, trading up card for card for card for card every single time. Alchemist.
Don't touch those mixtures.
Okay.
What are we getting?
So, Emissary goes in
okay.
to 6 for 4, makes sense. And, ooh, low roll on the Wild Hunt Hound there. Not amazing. Not amazing. But, as plays go, you're okay to take that kind of play because, honestly, all the cards you want are in your hand already. All the cards you want are in your hand already.
Which isn't necessarily a good thing because you still have to go into round 3.
Correct. Which, for Gravesh, is actually not too bad. Probably just drop something like a Pact here. Maybe Maxi, just to improve draws for round 3.
It seems to be Maxi.
Yeah, makes sense. And drawing into a Nero Spores.
I'm happy with that hand. Oniro alone is what you need. And you get Spores after a mulligan. So,
missing
quite good.
Order Control is a little scary, though. No Heat Wave, no Parasite, no Imlerith's Wrath either. So, of the cards you're drawing into, you're missing Beast as well, I think.
I mean, I guess with a very short round, something like Heatwave alone could win you the game, especially since you have Osril and Yennefer is out of the picture.
Yeah, I can see this, the round 3 being uninteractive. All I want to do is remove everything on board and then slam my last card to be bigger than your card that's left.
Okay. Are we considering using the location card and then playing Joachim, perhaps? No, not Joachim. Sorry, that would be Cantarella. The location card can be used in the third round, though. So if you were to commit Joachim now, in the third round, you could put Joachim back on top of your opponent's deck and replay it with something like Cantarella, perhaps.
There we go. Engine. Oh, okay. So thins that through. Now this is interesting because if you're Hancock here, in the last game, you had to hold on constantly to Masquerade Ball. Dropping it last card ends up with a draw. A lot of players in this situation would have buckled a little and gone, do I play it sooner now? Hasn't been pressured by that, knows he's in a pretty good spot. It isn't the same as last time. Should be okay here to hold it, but if it's not a good card if all of your aristocrats are gone. And the only aristocrats left in deck are in hand, if I'm not mistaken. So if they're all played now, you are reaching a stage where you're guaranteeing that it isn't going to get traded. So I would say we probably see Usurper next instead of the other Spy, because the Spy can at least be played twice.
That's what I keep saying. Masquerade Ball bricks often, because you really have to time it. You can't just play it and know you'll trigger it twice. You actually have to make sure you have the correct cards in hand, so it's a little bit draw dependent, unless you're forced to play it early.
Very much so. So what do you do here if you're Hancock? If you're Hancock, you can try and hold on to it. You can try and hold on to it. You probably do drop Usurper because you're already up by 8. You know this drops for 12. No, going for the Spy to thin. Okay.
Now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so now you know you're safe. Now, and gets the other gold as well. Won't have wanted to see the Artorias Vigo there at all. Would really have wanted something that was not Vigo. Have we thinned the dogs already? Has Hancock already thinned the dogs? Apparently not. There you go.
No. I don't think I'm wrong here, but we can almost hero pass. If we look at the top 2 cards that our opponent can have, possibly here. Perhaps Imler's Wrath trading for 11, putting Gravesh on 35, 2 neutral points, plus 2, putting him on 39, and then.
If obviously you have to play a card now as Gravesh, so if you play Osril as 10 points, you know that with leader charges and 2 pings, it's enough. But you can't afford the bluff to be called. You just have to take the pass here. And obviously, Eigen's gone, so it would only have been a 10-point consume, because it actually is only going to consume Kelly, which is unfortunate.
That draw, though. Woo.
Yeah.
Woo, someone used Maxi.
Yeah, and I can see why. Oh, my. Okay, so it is time for uninteractive heat waves and removal all around. The Imler's Wrath is tricky, though, because it only does the damage for your tallest unit, right?
Oh, what a perfect hand for Hancock. Perfect. So, we can trigger Masquerade Ball with Usurper. We can put Joachim back on top of our opponent's deck, playing it with Cantarella. And we can play Joachim a second time with Coup de Grace. Game, set, match. But Gravesh still has some good cards to deal with it. But if you're Hancock here, that's just the best hand you could possibly have in a short round. By far.
Yeah, with Cantarella as well, that's very, very scary. There's 1 unit for Gravesh, which normally you'd want to slam as your last card. The problem is 2 of your cards need that unit on board to be played, and you're playing into poison. So the risk here is, I don't know, depends on what's left in as an Aneromancy choice.
That's not surviving.
No, it isn't. There goes the Osril. And it will survive initially, because, well, it will survive. It will be denied poison anyway, because Veil. So it just gets hit with a Veil, now cannot be poisoned. It's going to go very, very tall. You know Yen has been and gone.
Oh, yes, this is actually a problem. For Purify.
Finds the Purify, but there is another one.
Yeah.
There is one further.
I got excited and disregarded Veil altogether. Yeah, that's actually a little bit of a problem with regards to poison, but we're not relying on poison here, I think. We're more relying on Joachim value, but Joachim gets dealt with now. Not Joachim itself, but the card it produces, because we have Imler's Wrath going for 24 and Heatwave just deleting a card, essentially.
Yeah, Gravesh pretty happy in this situation. This is going to be really tight. The scenario itself will spawn effectively 10 points worth, 2 poisons, each at 4, and the boost that they provide, even if they hit a Veiled unit, still provide the boost to Thirsty Dame, because it's when the status is applied, even if it gets bounced off. It's going to come down to potentially Cantarella here.
Yes.
What do you have with the Cantarella?
Joachim. So, yeah, that's normally the game plan. Replaying Joachim. Not bad at all.
So here comes the Cantarella. Cantarella then grabs the Joachim, comes out, trades 4, and that's a nice card to be able to grab as well, because it isn't just 12 points, it is 14, though of course we expect to see that roundly destroyed very quickly.
It will not survive. I'm almost sure of it. At least you can poison Joachim, maybe.
Yeah, you're going to hit that. So, is there another unit left for Hancook to grab?
Well, we can go with Cantarella, but it would be a little bit of a wild card there, and then just poison Joachim. But I'd quite prefer another Joachim, if I'm going to be honest.
Depends on if there's a unit, but honestly, I think Gravesh may be fine here. Gravesh has Spores as well in deck, right? Spores still trades pretty well if that ends up being the line, because he can Spores whatever Joachim grabs here, which is a 12, 13 point card in the end.
You kind of have to hope he didn't draw his cards, but Hancook doesn't know that.
So that's 12. I think Gravesh might have just done it. I might be wrong. This is really close. This is really, really close here.
No, I think you are right. Though I don't like calling it too early, but you 100% are right. He has access to Spores and Heatwave.
And okay, I mean that's huge. That's huge. Is this going to be it? And I suppose Gravesh now trying to work out which way around do I want to do it? What cards are potentially left? And you've got a pretty good read that there are only 4 left in the list. So I'm sure forensically studying what 4 cards are there and what are my potential lose conditions from this position with the 2 cards I have left. Do I take a Spores on a 12 now, or do I Heatwave for 12? Can I afford to Heatwave for 12? Let's find out, because that's the line we've taken.
So Thirsty Dame is 13 points. Normally it's a 4, meaning it's a 9 with Spores.
4 isn't enough.
It's not. Shibbit. Is this a tie?
Is Forktail enough?
No. Folktail's 8 points.
Okay.
So
Spore,
I believe it's a tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes it a tie.
Wow.
We replay the whole matchup again. We replay the matchup. We replay the coin. We replay everything. It is still Gravesh 2, Hancook 0. It is still 2-0. We go again. Wow. So, if the Spores goes on the 12, if he chooses to Spores first and Heatwave second, he wins the game. If he chooses to... Is that correct? He Spores... No, I don't think so. It's potato, right?
Potato. Well, I was more focusing on the Thirsty Dame there. Well, you have to kind of...
No, it's 21 or 21.
You have to figure out what he was taking into account. So he might have hoped that Hancook didn't have Usurper. Now Usurper would trigger the deploy card once, though it would trigger Thirsty Dame twice. So he was perhaps taking into account that Thirsty Dame would have been a better target for Spores.
Yeah, quite possibly. It ends up being 21 points both ways, I think, now I think about it. It's incredible how close these games can come down to. And we get to see it all over again.
Alright, here we go, guys. Tiebreaker time.
So, can they draw as well as they did last time? That's going to be the question here, because Gravesh's round 1 may regret dropping the Kelly, but we can always ask.
I still don't understand that, and I will actually like to ask him. I don't understand that play at all, but he definitely knows what he was doing. And yeah, he just really wanted to get out of the round, I'm guessing. Although he was quite ahead there, that's why I was so curious. He could have really played some bad cards and still remained ahead.
I think he needed to play. Maxi, which would have been early, and the leader charge, and they're so valuable in that matchup. I think he decided winning on even was more important.
You know what's also valuable in a Cali deck? Cali. Really valuable.
And I'm looking at the hands this time, and neither of them are as exciting as they were previously. On Gravesh's side, there is no Eigen, there is no Siri, there is no Aneromancy to access it. On the other side, Yen's skill check has been passed though, but no Cupbearer. But you don't need the Cupbearer this time because there is not likely to be a defender to protect. This is a little tougher.
It certainly is. It's a totally different hand for each player. So I like this because if you get a mirror match a second time, often the players take totally different strategies. You never see them committing the same exact pattern. They take a weird strategy. So what Gravesh did in the previous game, I would have expected in this game. Playing Kali round 1 because perhaps the previous one didn't work out. But hey, maybe we'll see Kali now in a long round.
We're going to see Nithril and a boost instead to not just match dominance, because it probably won't keep it, but also to deny the damage and potential coup to steal it, more importantly.
Makes sense. Of course, dominance is very important. Though the dominance will be disappearing quite quickly with the Slave Hunter just pinging it once. And Emissary does it as well.
Yeah, Emissary does it quite nicely. You expect that to get traded for a pact now to return the favor as a guess. Just drop your engine, but you don't have dominance, so...
That's the thing, right? I do like dropping the beast quite early on, but yeah, it depends whether you want to get ahead or not. And he decides to drop the engine instead.
Makes sense.
Yeah, the nice thing about the beast is he climbs until he has dominance, which is what you want. So the beast is a good boy.
Very much so. Climbs and climbs. And unlikely to see it get yenned. It's not a card you particularly want to give Veil to, but there is a Purify in hand again. So is this the card you protect with Purify now? Is this the Purify commitment? Because it's the only Purify available. So it's the last chance to do it.
Well, let's see. We are on red coin, a Gravesh. So committing a little bit more than you normally would is acceptable. He also has the Defender, though that might be a little bit early. I see no reason not to commit the Defender, the Purify in all honesty, because there aren't any locks in this deck either, so you're only really worried about poison when it comes to Kali, and a swift leader charge really protects it, unless it gets Yennefer'd, of course. But that's what your Defender is for.
I suppose there's the worry if Siri gets poisoned as previously, you don't have the answer to it, so now... This is an interesting read. It's and a leader charge. Decides to take the leader charge instead. I don't think that was the line Gravesh originally intended, because Gravesh used Nithril prior to damaging, so really was umming and ahhing, do I purify or do I use a leader charge? They're so valuable in this list. It's a big, big decision to make, but has decided I'm going to protect that engine. I know it's going to grow a little while longer yet, can still drop things like a pact. No, pact's been and gone, but could make sure I keep dominance here and be reasonably okay with that. Drop my engines.
Yeah, a Veil is very it's an expensive thing to do early on, because obviously you can't now poison that card again, whereas purifying it, you can still poison it twice if you really want to. But yeah, like you said, it's a little bit of a commitment, but I think it could pay off, especially if we get round control.
Could well do. For Hancook, there's no follow-up poison in hand anyway. So actually getting a charge, you're pretty happy with that. That was basically your intention. Get the charge out, because you had no follow-up poison to deal with it anyway, unless you were going to pull out a high roll of spy into poison, or it was unlikely you were going to drop that when they're so premium. So you have the ability to effectively not deal with it. And
yes.
Now, again, Gravesh well ahead on even. Much happier here.
Oh yeah, but it was awfully similar in the previous one. We were ahead by quite a bit, not 13 points, but we were ahead, And right now, Hancook is in an awful position because he will be trading down to Gravesh. Gravesh just keeps playing his bronzes and he stays ahead. Did we just throw away? No, I just missed it. It was Yennefer, I believe, and Yennefer stole Naglfar. No, Nithrol, sorry.
Yeah.
I missed that for a
Nithrol-
split second.
So a Nithril steal is a huge amount of points. On top of that, turns off 2 other engines, I believe. No, 1 other engine, because there is still dominance on Gravesh's side at least.
Well, it took away the beast, essentially, because the beast would have kept ticking because Nithrol was that big.
However, the Wild Hunt Hound keeps Gravesh ahead incredibly. Continues to tick because the dominance is still there. Big cards being dropped now. And
Yeah. The beast doesn't tick. No. Unfortunately, it will not tick unless the slave master gets another point for assimilate.
And now, so dropping the, it's not enough to get ahead though. So there won't be a win on even here. Maxi coming down, improving your draws. No win on even this time. And if you are Hancook, this is probably the time you're going to say, phew. Could play first coup, but that would make Gravesh a very happy man to see that disappear because the squirrel will nom away at that echo card as you would expect. It's going to be interesting to see if that's what happens here. Or do you finally take the pass you've been longing for as Hancook? I think it's worth mentioning as well. It's 9 p.m. for me and 10 p.m. for you. Hancook, if I'm not mistaken, is probably closer to going to work than going to sleep in Korea right now, as on the other side of the world, this is comfortably Monday and has been playing for a very long time. You do wonder, is there an impact of that? That's huge. It's one of the things that you always have to consider. And it does take the pass. It's playing incredibly well. There's the pass, and there is the win by a point for Gravesh here.
Yeah, hats off to all the players. Honestly, it's very long and it's very a tough journey to get to here. Just qualifying, honestly, the amount of hours you have to put in is ridiculous. So definitely hats off to all of them.
And we do see first Nero on the other side now, which at least is... but finds the Purify.
Problematic.
And not necessarily the world's best hand for a push.
He's going to do it anyway. Are we going to see Kelly? I wonder.
Not card 1, I can promise you that. You're not seeing it card 1. But you may well see theory card 1 because there is no direct answer.
No, Yennefer is gone. So the next play could be to poison it for fun. Though I doubt that's what's going to happen. Alright, well... One Nithrol ping, I believe, along with Ku.
Order anyway. You probably see the defender now.
That would make sense.
This is the only thing that really needs protecting while there's still a leader charge left. There is the answer, obviously, in terms of you can purify the defender, and then Gravesh may be thinking, cool, time for me to get out.
Maybe Adrenaline Rush.
Yeah, I was just thinking Adrenaline Rush is in hand.
Yeah, that would get out a poison, perhaps. He goes with the defender. So. Alright.
That's fine.
Okay, so currently Nithrol does not have dominance. So he now goes for 1 point each turn. And currently Saridash is out of reach.
But does take the leader ability here, not waiting. And you would imagine, as a Nero was just played, Squirrel, and that's what's being weighed up. The Spores is obviously a 0. Do you take the 8 points and gain dominance so you can do more damage? Or do you just squirrel away that? And Neromancy, right now, how confident do you feel? Doesn't choose to get rid of a Nero, wants the dominance to plow through.
He's going to coup that card, mark my words.
Oh, he is, and that means there's got to be a boost here. Gravesh is going to need to boost that card. The only way to do it, however, is either with a Spores, which feels like an interesting line. Leader. You never Spores that, right?
I personally wouldn't have Defendered. I'd have gone with Adrenaline Rush first and then play Defender after Suri was maybe poisoned. But yeah, it's a little bit of commitment there, seeing that we don't yet have Callie and a poison wasn't used yet. We did get a Purify out, though, and there's Spores. Goes on a Thrall. Yeah, I was thinking he'd do that instead. And Siri boosted back.
Yeah, coup onto Siri. Oh, doesn't work anymore anyway. So Siri is going to flick through. Coup onto Siri wouldn't have been the end of the world. It would have denied it, but it's really slow. And wouldn't have had time to tick, I don't think, with the number of cards left. So
No, it wouldn't have ticked anymore, no. But it would essentially give you extra points and take it away from your opponent, which is nice.
yeah, true. So all leader charge is gone here. Gravesh relying on Siri existing, which she's going to now. She will get through. I don't think there's any way, unless I'm missing some huge 5-head maths between dropping the spy, playing everything else. Yes, yes, yes. It's going to be interesting to see. And instead the location comes down, going for the high roll because you're already ahead. Yep. Oh, now that was nearly very, very bad. I'm not surprised Tawny Joust is the card going there as opposed to the other two.
Oh no. Find significant value there with Heatwave.
Oof. Oof.
Oof indeed. At
And
least we didn't
that
get
would have
Kelly.
been the card that was drawn as well. And now Siri is only going to draw Tawny Joust. Siri is going to draw the Tawny Joust. And, better yet, Hancook
Oh.
knows that. So Hancook has additional information now.
Yeah, that's very problematic. If anything, you just pass. You pass as Gravesh, and then you essentially got your extra card, which you can just mulligan in the next round, hoping you get something better. And you go for a longer round with Kelly, potentially.
And the squirrel drops down, meaning that double coup is definitely going to be a thing. Hancook also seen drawing both spies next round. Oof. But trying to bleed here, get as many things as possible, hoping to trade up, and a squirrel will definitely trade up on the 3 cards I can see there.
Yeah, so now we have the option to commit Adrenaline Rush and get our points. So it's 8 points, not bad at all. It will get us ahead though, doesn't really matter. Hancook will still have to play another card. Well, unless he takes into account that it is Tawny Joust, which is just 4 points. He knows, so there's no surprise waiting for him if he decides to pass. And now, now we could play Tawny Joust and Hancook wouldn't know what's left, but instead we decide to go on even.
So, right. Hancook does know what's left because Hancook saw a rush when picking leader, so Gravesh can't take that risk.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Can't take that risk. Trade up just means that Hancook dry passes, or rather hero passes, takes the round, takes the game. Needs some skilled draws here and good mulligans on Gravesh's side to take this one. And there, yikes. I don't even think you're going to see a mulligan on this side, whether you want the Cantarella or not. You know Joachim's the card after it, so maybe you take Joachim over Cantor here, but you know you're going to get it from the other spy.
Okay, so Gravesh getting very lucky there with his draws. He almost missed Kelly, just got it.
Has nothing particularly chunky in the graveyard for Oswald, though, if I'm not mistaken, because the 2 biggest cards are currently sat in his hand. So Oswald not going to be particularly huge value here. And there goes the Cantarella into the Joachim. So, oof, I think this one might be quite tough. I think we may be going into a game 4, which is actually game 5, but we're going to call it game 4. There is still a lot of points on the other side, though. It's the lack of leader charges that worry me for Gravesh.
Yeah, it's a bit problematic seeing that we can't veil our cards anymore. And we don't have a defender, so yes, a little bit troublesome.
And Heatwave. Gravesh's Heatwave. Sat in the other hand. Definitely not ideal either, of course.
Yes, that's very intimidating, seeing that Gravesh can see the Heatwave right there waiting. So it's a bit of a deterrent. If he decides to play Iger, and Iger likely dies, and Oswald can't even access it anymore because it's banished. So, very problematic.
Very problematic indeed. So, you kind of have to... You know the Heatwave is there, so you know what you play is going to be Heatwave. The Defender is the biggest Oswald target for 8. You can't leave Eigen to be a last play, effectively, because that's not how the card works with armor, so it's risky. You know it would have survived. It would have had a chance to survive here, and you could always have used a shield to protect it if it weren't for the fact you know your Heatwave is sat on the other side. Do you just have to take the chance and say, you know what, I'm going to do it? I would say so. There's a line where you play Kelly right now to burn the spy to deny coup value.
That's what I'm thinking, but you have to assume they have Cantarella and can quickly place it on top of the deck with the location card.
And he does take it. Does take it. Goodbye, spy. It's an interesting line. I like it. I really like it. Obviously, the location there and the ability to take it back is frustrating, but Roderick doesn't necessarily want Cantarella. Roderick wants the ball. So coup now, oh, and there goes Kelly. See you later. Means Igern survives.
It could die with coup. But interestingly enough, I don't think coup plays Igern because Igern destroys itself once the armor is damaged. So you don't get Igern, it just kills itself. But hey, it's a way to kill it, though you would be giving Ozra a little bit more value.
Yeah, very true. Now, I don't think we're going to see Masquerade Ball now. I do think we're going to end up having to see Roderick into Cantarella, and then moving the Joachim back to the top of the deck and replaying Joachim for maximum points, because you can't proc it now, right?
No.
Oh, no, coup just reproc. Right? Depends on how many golds are left in deck.
I think there was 3.
Yeah. What's been missed?
So he does place it on top. And then he's going to Roderick and hope he gets Cantarella. He does get Cantarella. Great stuff.
Yeah, I'd be very happy with that. Grab the Cantarella. Although roping again doesn't necessarily matter because the card you play is just the card you play.
Oh, it matters. Because he didn't necessarily choose that with Vigo.
Oh my, lots and lots and lots of roping. And finds Vigo as well, which is just so many points here. In round 3, you don't mind that at all. In round 1, it would have been terrible.
Yeah, certainly.
Is a decent chunk of points here. So Imlerith's Wrath is a decent option to be able to remove a 13 point, or Vigo at 11. You probably just take maximum value with only 2 cards left, I would say. This is pretty close. Are there any gold cards left?
Gold cards? Yes.
In
Oh, yeah, Vigo, Cantarella. We can't access the decks, by the way, guys, so we have to try and remember. But I imagine I did see a gold. Perhaps I was imagining it.
So Hancook, the Masquerade Ball is the remaining one left, but that is not a unit. But so Masquerade Ball is still there. It's a 4, effectively.
So you could technically Roderick, and you would proc it once. So you can't poison, but you get an extra 4-point card. Essentially giving you 8-9 points with with the Thirsty Dame getting 1 point for the poison. Perhaps, well, 9 points isn't too horrible. There we go. And Menno.
And yeah, you go. Menno is left. Menno, good card as well. Just takes the extra Joachim into Menno.
Very nice. Very nice.
Gold on gold on gold on gold. And you're not... I mean, the Purify is an option, but you've also got the ping to remove the shield if you really wanted to do that. Is the Purify going on that shield? Oh, no, no, no. Not that it makes a difference, because you're still not killing it.
It does not make a difference.
Just too many points on the other side of the board. Gravesh behind by quite a significant amount, and in reality, that it wasn't really played for the shield, it was played just to boost, to give more value, and hoping there is nothing there. However, this takes it to 2-1. So Gravesh continues. Hancook lives to fight another day. It is 2-1. And we switch.
Wow. All right. So we saw that game twice. And the first time was a tie. And the second one, Hancook came in and won. So GG Hancook coming in with his Nilfgaard list, which I have to think is his favorite list because he keeps banning Nilfgaard, meaning, well, though in this situation he banned V, but I think he knows that Nilfgaard is extremely powerful under the right circumstances and therefore bans it quite regularly. But now it's out of the way.
So he can queue NR, he can queue pockets, and he's only got one shot on blue coin here. So in theory, you're taking witches, right? If you're going at the two of them, I think, would you queue witches or would you queue pockets?
Both have their benefits.
Is he on red? If he's on red coin, he's on red coin actually. No, he's on red coin. If he's on red coin, he's queuing line pockets for this game in the hope that he can get pockets through here and take witches through in the final game. So I think he's going to take pockets here. Yeah. Oh, I guess we'll find out. We're not going to be very long, but it's not going to be too long. I can see it. I can see either, but I think he'll go pockets.
I mean, both have their benefits. Like, Another Round Witches does have Yedden, which can add up. And then we have Line Pockets, which has a lot of control. And control is very much needed against decks like Kali. And we are already going into the next game. Ugh.
No messing around today.
There we are.
Right.
Full screen.
Just a
And it's Line
Excellent.
Pockets.
And it is
Control.
one pocket.
Alright.
Here we go. Oh, does the drill go brrr, or does Keltulis burn everything?
Both go
We
brrr.
are-
Only one can win.
Indeed. And I can see. Oh, and okay, so Hancook's list is a little different than the ones we've seen. It does run Pickpocket and Siggy. This one is coins make all the difference, effectively.
I like
It is
this
very
one.
defiant.
Yeah, it's very similar to mine as well. You can never have enough coins.
In this,
Alright.
but a very nice hand if you are Gravesh here. The problem is you have to respect the damage potential. Has no Kelly, but no Siri or Defender either. Access to only one of them. And really, you're not wanting to drop Siri without the Defender in this matchup.
Certainly not.
Yield and save me some time.
Now, we can't steal it. A, we don't have the coins, and B, it is 10. But we can begin our long pursuit of getting rid of it. We can still maybe steal it. I'd go with Payday, start off slow. Does he have access to any of his halfling safecrackers?
No. No Safecrackers, no Furco, and no Novigradian Justice in an opening hand for Syndicate. Now, I'm pretty sure that must be a bug, because it has never, ever happened to me. So Hancock will not be very happy there. Could just drop Siggy here, damage and threaten to steal Siri. Interesting that Gravesh is running TA in this list, isn't running Veil. That's very interesting. Maybe deciding that the extra point is always going to be worth more than the Veil, but I don't know. That's interesting. That one's really interesting.
Sea Jackal.
Right patch for harvest.
Okay, we're prepping to get a lot of coins. Perhaps having a little bit more control over the amounts we want in the pockets. No, what I would have done here is probably I'd start off by paydaying and trying to get it into 9 points range. But it's so predictable, so he just keeps boosting Surrey if you do that. Now, yeah, we're running out of time here quite quickly.
I mean, the opening Sea Jackal basically says, I'm not playing into this round potentially.
Maybe.
I'm on the good coin and I don't have what I want. I'm going to get carryover and I'm going to get out of here. But Siri definitely gets through if you do that. Hancook won't be too happy right now.
Do you dip in the Pontar? I don't think someone like Gravesh will fall for that, though.
And fortunately for Gravesh, multiple options for boosting. Has a rush. So, and you're going to, ooh, okay, so threatening that instead. You're never going to boost that. So you basically just have to accept. Okay, cool. That's not going to be there much longer.
Now, if we were putting Crown Splitters on the board, I might understand this because of a potential tunnel draw play and killing Surrey. But right now, it doesn't seem like there's any plan. It seems like he's trying to get out of the round, if anything.
It's just get as much carryover as possible, get the boat out. I would say, though it's very unlikely that you can deal with Siri with the hand that Hancock has. It's really unfortunate withdrawals. That looks like a maxi, which if you can drop this on turn 3, knowing that you're comfortable, very ahead, and your Siri's about to proc through, you're pretty happy. as Gravesh here. Wow, this is going to be a short round one, and you would imagine Hancook will try and get maximum coin value and get out of here as quickly as possible.
Okay, so we kill Igern. Still a lot of points, 13 points gone. Now Suri survives though. Here comes the card.
And here it is, so what's drawn? Either way, the coin is now flipped. This is really rough for Hancook, because now Hancook has gone from going, well, I'm on red coin, it's fine, to, oh, I'm losing on even, that's not fine at all. Now the boat is out, the spender does exist, so it could be worse, and it's at 7 points, which isn't removable without something particularly tall, which could be worse. If you are Gravesh here, it's now about how much you want to commit.
That is true. Well, we have a lot of coins in hand, which can quite quickly catch us up if needed. But we're not prepared to spend those yet, are we?
I think Hancook really won't want to lose this on even, but if you're going to lose, you want to do it sooner. Gravesh deciding what's worth committing here, and the minimal commitment. Checking through, this isn't the poison version, so Taskmaster doesn't really need to exist. There's nothing you want to purify here. Just drop the lowest value card. Hancook, not content with potentially losing the round, is going to spend and drop Pickpocket, take themselves straight back up, and say, okay, I've got another turn before you're going to pass. The Spores is kind of sad, though. Gravesh holding a Spores in hand here. This is just everything that you do, I have an answer for. Gravesh very happy, Hancook probably slightly less so.
Well, if Gravesh decides to pass here, we can commit another card. We just have to drive past the next round to get back to 10. And if Gravesh does decide to play a card, we can also pass and lose on even, but at least we can try and survive the bleed in round 2 without going down a card. It totally depends on what Hancook is prepared to do here. Are you really prepared to commit all of those gold cards at this point and lose on even?
If there's no answer to the spender, you could spend everything and potentially, if you really had to, Siggy again. As Hancook, this may just be the pass. Philippa is a lot of points. Philippa now onto a 7 is huge. And it's a massive swing. Is it the card you want to steal? No. Tunnel Drill, no good here whatsoever. And Hancook does the sensible thing. Says, cool, I'm out. The odds of you having Spores just means I'm spending over the odds on coins, which I don't need to, into a single target. It's not worth it. I'll lose on even now, and I'll take my chances.
Yeah, it makes sense. So now he just has to withstand the bleed. Which isn't always easy with something like Callie being a threat.
Oh, Justice. The card you don't want when you just drew Furco. Oh, that's not good. That's better for Hancook. That is much better. And Gravesh now pondering those mulligans. How deep a bleed when you've missed quite a lot of your cards. Still no Kelly, no Defender. Still not the Defender's... it's not too bad in this matchup. Absorbs some damage.
Oh, not Forktail. Oh no. Get it away.
Yeah. Go away, Forktail.
Now, yeah, Hancook having drawn every single card he wants. So if he gets bled here, he's in a little bit of trouble.
And he will be bled quite viciously on even, and the boat has gone. Not only do Echo cards get eaten by squirrels, entire Spectre-based boats do as well.
Woof. Okay, so we see Sir Skewertooth coming out, likely with immunity, as it should be.
You would imagine so, although there isn't a great deal of removal, it is the Spores you're worried about. So, Skewertooth protected creates an uninterruptible potential half pocket, which is really nice. There can't be moved, can't be damaged, can't be reset. Yerden doesn't exist in the opposing hand. Pretty happy for Gravesh, and it does give Hancook at least a foothold in the round.
Let's see. We don't have that many crime cards, though. We have Payday and we have Furco. But other than that, Paper Pig doesn't really get a lot of boosts.
No, definitely not. And for Gravesh, very happy to just say, I can play and I intend to trade up consistently. I can keep playing because I won on even. So Red is deciding Furco. Is Furco for Justice or is Furco for something like Swindle for max coins here? Because the pocket exists now. It is for Justice.
Makes sense. It's a nice card. It's a nice thinning mechanism, and you don't really want to draw one of those in a short round 3. Let's be honest.
And if you're going to be bled, which you expect to, even though the engine's not hugely valuable, there's only 1 crime left, as is going to be revealed right now. It is still nonetheless extra points on that, and makes the pocket harder to interrupt because there are now 4 in a row.
Now, the fact that he has only 1 crime card left is extremely telling for Gravesh, because you only have so many units in this deck, and a lot of those units are legendaries, as we can see at the moment. So I would keep playing here and trading up all the way. Though, do you ever commit Cali? Because you're going to find so much value.
Possibly. It is quite possible. And knowing that the drill, if there's enough coins, can answer it, and obviously Philippa is a worry, leader can prevent that, so it depends on the setup. At the moment, it's just about trading up.
Alright.
Simple as the pact could go here. Okay. Takes the pass and decides, your crown splitter pocket is gone, I've denied lots of your value, and I'm getting out here. Not what I expected. I thought there'd be a much, much deeper bleed there.
Yeah, I'm actually... Yeah, that's an interesting way to go, because you know his hand is really good.
Yeah.
Perhaps he's thinking the longer the round, the better with Cali.
Quite possibly. Finds the heat wave as well, which is really nice. Obviously has answers for the drill with Parasite in hand. Now has heat wave as well. Okay. That does surprise me.
Gravesh is surprising me today, I'm going to be honest. I'm definitely going to pick his brain if I have the chance.
I suppose he would have been throwing away good long round engines in an attempted bleed.
Yeah.
And Pocket is scarily good.
In a short round.
Such good monsters. But honestly, right now, Pockets kind of has it. I think he'd have liked to get a card, but the fact that he doesn't isn't the end of the world. Is this going to be the way on Cleaver?
I would already be calling right here for 5 points.
Take the 50-50.
Literally. And Cali isn't going anywhere, I believe. You can even boost Cali if you want to make sure, but worst case... Okay, so Tunnel Draw is going to get... no, Tunnel Draw will get 2 points, because Cali is going to get rid of one of those if he decides to commit Tunnel Draw immediately. And right.
Looks like with Galtulis. Does he get the 50-50 high roll? Let's find out. He does. Oh, and there goes Cleaver. So now the Tunnel Drill, not necessarily going to brrr quite as hard.
Brrr. Yeah, Tunnel Drill not finding as much value here. And right now, if I were Hancook, I would be a little bit nervous here, because Cali's going to find some value. I would likely start off by committing my crime cards. But which ones, right? Which ones do you commit?
Yeah, the risk is you've got nothing that can deal directly with Kelly now. Kelly could have been blundered fund at 9 if it was at 9, or stolen by Philippa. Obviously, that's not necessarily that great for you either, so you're just going to start by damaging it and threatening, because there are 8 coins on the other side for Hancook. This may be the moment where you just see a pact, because you can't play a card as Gravesh here. So pact gets dropped out there, keeps it well out of range, and this is now really, really scary, because units are just going to burn quite consistently on the other side if there is no way to deal with it. And they have to stay as uninteractive as each other here.
Now, the thing here is, Gravesh also has a few units, so unless he wants to start doing a Pajabal and throwing them all away, he is going to reach a point where he's going to be pretty much even with Hancook with regards to the amount of units. Jock is likely going to be played last, so that's not really taken into consideration here. Who has last say at the moment?
Gravesh always has last say. Now,
yeah, so Gord can be played anyway.
I think Gravesh is going to start discarding. If this Bloody Good Fun comes out now and hits Kelly, Gravesh probably has to lead a charge and then just discard, right? Because he can't play a unit. So it's probably one more leader charge to play around the Kelly, followed by discard. Because he can't heat wave it, he can't damage anything. Can't heat wave, can't reset.
It's a bit risky because we also need to get some points here. Now, we can make sure that something like Philippa doesn't find value, but yeah, he has Spenders and he has Gord. So he quite easily gets ahead if necessary. I think. Well, he would have to play more units, of course.
And they don't survive. This is the issue.
Yeah.
So it should be a charge to play around, and it should be discard, and that is exactly what it is, because there's nothing you can play on the board right there other than a 1-point spores, which just doesn't make sense. And now it's really rough. So Hancook is looking at this. For Hancook, how do you go about this here? Do you decide the drill isn't enough? Do you play for the threat and drop Siggy and get the extra coins and potentially threaten that? Or do you start discarding? The answer is discard.
Do we have Flying Redanian in this list, or has it been dealt with?
It got squirreled already.
That would have been an absolutely great play there, just keeping your pocket full and Flying Redanian being Cali bait consistently. But obviously that was dealt with for a reason.
Yeah, in this matchup, getting rid of the Flying Redanian, arguably bigger than getting rid of a Neromancy, because it means Kelly just finds play. And of all the cards to be discarded, would you believe Philippa? How often do you see that thrown away? But right now, it's going to have no value whatsoever. And Gravesh will be able to see that as well. Gravesh will have jumped into the graveyard to see what did you throw away. Philippa. Now, if that's the worst card in your hand, Gravesh got to be pretty happy about consistently throwing cards here. Likely to see the Beast or Nithril go next, I would imagine. And we do.
Woof. We're playing the discard game, guys.
We are. But if we play the discard game all the way down to the end, this is Gravesh booking his place in the finals, I believe. The drill may have something to say about that, of course. The drill coming down and killing it may have something to say about that. Has access to remove the Keltulis. So Siggy for maximum coins, and then disappears. Drill is a little scary.
Siggy makes total sense, of course. You can't throw that away because you actually do want the coins.
Now we see a defender, and I think that may end up being GG, because now Kelly cannot be removed. You could also Beast, but the drill, there are 15 coins of value. The drill may only be doing 2 damage a time, but that's still a lot. That is a lot of value. So there is the defender, and now I think Gravesh will be doing a little dance.
Yeah, definitely seeing Tunnel Drill now, I think. We're not going to get much more value than that, and luckily Siggy is the one that's going to die if need be. Also, we don't want to give any coins to Spores or Heatwave, so rather transferring that into damage is the go-to play here, I'd say.
Definitely, damage is always more valuable to you than the boost, because it's much, much harder to play around. But you would imagine here Hancook's line has to be Tunnel Drill and just try and spend for as much as possible. Takes Gord to create the pocket to go for the most coins possible. Unfortunately, Spores going from
It's risky though. Yeah, I see why. He's pushed in a position where if he doesn't take a chance here, he stands no chance himself. And of course, the Tunnel Drill will now technically get 3 points for every 2 coins if placed between Cleaver and Gord. So, what do we go with if we are Gravesh? We know why he did that.
Yeah, there's no worry about a defender. So for Gravesh, you could just set up your own engine here. You could just say, oh, awesome, I get to play my Beast now. My Beast plays for 10 points here,
Spores.
I'm really happy. Or do I just Spores?
Yeah, Spores. Because it keeps Callie going.
Yeah, and now that disappears as well. Makes sense. So that burns, and then every unit that is played. Now we see the drill, and also it guarantees that the pocket disappears, completely denying the value of that. And it's rough as well, because the maximum coins with no defender, if you're going to drop Jacques here, you're effectively removing all of his value. So here comes the drill, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the drill will just about be able to get through, but will not go any further. If I'm not mistaken, the drill can't kill both of these.
So we keep it there for Kelly. Now, you don't really want to use Jock, though. I think he might just be doing this for now, and we'll go back to Tunnel Drill, because we know Heatwave is a threat, and anything you spend on Jock is just going to die.
Yeah, very much so. Removing units on the other side, you don't want to do, so he may just be saying, please don't have Heatwave. Effectively, 9 coins of value. So this plays for 12, 17. It's a lot of points. Oh, this is closer than it looks.
Yeah.
But I think I think we have our 8th finalist, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
I
let's
think
see.
it
This is a little bit scary because if he decides to go with Jock, not use the tribute, he uses Tunnel Draw instead, get rid of the defender, get rid of Callie's extra points so the beast doesn't tick again. Then Heatwave only plays for 6 points.
I don't think he's got enough to remove Kelly. I could be wrong.
No, not
I
remove
don't-
Callie. Just ping it enough so the beast doesn't grow anymore. Oh, okay, he does go for the tribute.
Yeah, he denies value of Kelly as well.
Still, Heatwave, yeah, gets 6 points.
Yeah. That doesn't
9
grow
points
anymore.
to
Then,
6.
as a result, unbelievably, you get it. And there you go. Gravesh, by 1, books his place. It is a day where Gravesh and Shaggy both go through. Hancook did amazingly on both days, was phenomenal through Swiss, dominant and did really well through the final stages. But it is in fact Gravesh who is waiting for us in the analyst desk right now for a quick interview if we would like to go and congratulate him.
Wow. GG Gravesh. Definitely one of the community favorites for the day. That was so fun to watch. And now I can ask Gravesh all of these questions that are troubling me. So let's get to that. And yes, GG's guys, the Open has now been decided. Let me just give a recap to all of you. We've got Pudgeable, we've got Red Rain, Tailbot, Bart, Cams, Forever YOLO, Shaggy, and Gravesh. What a fun tournament that is gonna be. I cannot wait. My goodness. Yeah, I'm stoked. And the winner of that tournament goes through to the Masters. That takes place in the end of the year, hopefully. And if COVID decides to behave, perhaps that can be in person. Who knows?
We can only hope.
Right.
So, shall we jump into the analyst desk and grab Gravesh?
That sounds like a plan. You can quickly pop in there and I'll join you.
The first question, entirely unrelated to the Open, that I want to ask, and I'm sorry, I have to ask. Just forehead play? Tell me more.
Just headbutt play.
Just headbutt play. I've given you your next one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of supposed to be a joke, and yeah, now it's maybe more than a joke. Now it plays in an Open.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. You appear to have started a trend. So many people's names have changed that I don't know who's who anymore.
Yeah, I've heard of some others who joined in.
Oh, very, very much so. But going back to the big event of today, you have qualified for Gwent Open number 1, which is incredible. And there are a couple of things I'm curious about. I'd love to ask. You have banned Nilfgaard you banned line pockets all day. Did you build your lineup around doing that? We were just speaking to Shaggy, who made a similar decision.
I mean, it was more so that I just think Line Pocket is the strongest deck of the patch, like kind of by far. It also depends a bit on the Line Pocket build. Like all of the people I played against had Heatwave, so it's like a much better matchup into Gift and Kelly. So it kind of just made sense to ban the best deck, or like the deck I thought is the best of the patch.
That makes sense.
complete sense.
What didn't make sense for a novice like me, and something I really want to ask you is, in that first Cali game you played, you committed Cali round 1. Was that just to gain round control?
Yeah, pretty much. Like gain round control and most likely win on even. There's some hands you could have where it don't win on even. But the problem is against Nilfgaard, like double cross. I mean, I have to say I'm not super familiar with the matchup because like Kelly was like the last minute, like I'm just gonna bring the Kelly, it's gonna be like good enough, hopefully. But from like what I could tell in round 3, it's really awkward to manage your hand because like the leader is so threatening, the double cross leader on like Heatwave or Wrath or so. And you just get your board completely clogged with like little spies, and then like sometimes maybe you can keep a fog tail to remove them, but like in the end, I felt like if I get round control, I have like a pretty good shot at winning. Like my hand in round 2 was a bit awkward, so the bleed didn't go quite as planned. So like I couldn't bleed, I just passed. But yeah.
All right, that actually does make sense and answers my question. And yeah, you had this, I think you accidentally roped with Pavko in the Nature's Gift game, but you still won. But that was so sad to see it getting poisoned. Were you going for the veil?
Yeah, I couldn't decide. Like, either I go for the caress on that turn, and then just say if he plays like his Joachim, then I have to slam Forest Protector caress. But I looked at like the two Hamadrides in my hand. I looked at the fall, so it was guaranteed on Ethna. It was a counter, so I was like, there's so much like nature synergy like that I miss. But if I go for the Veil, he can go for Invo and then Joachim. And I was like, I can't decide. And then I rolled out and I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just like slam all the cards and hope it's enough. And I mean, it was lucky. Like, he was a bit greedy, but I was also really lucky that it worked out. Like, yeah.
You could see the next couple of cards after that, you could see you were frustrated by it. The fact that you pushed through, it got to a point where you got 3 or 4 cards left, and it was basically, well, I'm all in now, let's go. And it ended up working out for you, which was incredible to see. It was really, really enjoyable to watch. Honestly, that series is one of my favorites that, honestly, I've ever cast.
Same.
It was intense to play. Also, like, if you like GG to Hancook, like, he played really good. And like, I got like a bit more lucky at the deciding parts, I guess. And like, yeah, it's just feels bad to win against an old teammate. But like, GG to him.
Of course, well, you're probably used to TLG Civil Wars these days. You guys are doing very, very well. It's probably something you're used to. It's, I guess, Hancook possibly not who you prepped with, so wouldn't have had quite the knowledge of each other's hands in the same way. But is there someone you did prep with or you'd like to thank that that helped you get here?
Oh, I mean, just a general TLG gist. And for today, I did like most of my prep with Kuner, who unfortunately dipped out in the first round, got a bit unlucky from what he told me. So yeah, thanks to Kuner for convincing me to bring Kelly, honestly.
I mean, Kelly worked out very nicely for you. And is there any other shout outs you'd like to give now that you've made it into an official open event?
Shout outs to TLG and the community. Always fun. And yeah, I hope it was a good show.
It was a phenomenal one. Do you have someone you would like to face, or is there anyone you'd like to avoid? Now you are in the open. There are 8 of you, 8 of the best players in the world, some of which are good teammates. Is there anyone you're prepping for, or is it just, I'm there, let's go?
I mean, like I know all of them, right? And they're all good people. So I mean, honestly, it's probably time for revenge against Pyro sooner or later. So
oh my, Pajable. Be careful.
Fighting words from Gravesh. Watch out, just headbutt play is coming in to take the open. That would be incredible. It really would.
I have a final question that's likely the most important. Will your name be changing again? And if so, do you have any ideas of what it might be?
I mean, like, only like a day or two after I changed my name to just Headbutt Play, my original name was actually yoinked by someone who I have no idea who it is. Like,
I knew it.
Someone just made an account, and like now it's there, and yeah.
Oh no.
We'll see. Honestly, just Headbutt Play is not a bad name, but maybe.
We'll continue to call you Gravesh out of respect for your name, and of course because it's too difficult to learn the new names, to be honest.
Wow. Well, that was incredible. A huge congratulations from both of us. It was so much fun to watch and great to have you in an open. I'm sure you are very excited to go off and celebrate.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming on, Gravesh. We appreciate it, and congratulations once again. We can't wait to see you in the open event.
Thank you.